Would you willingly sign a binding legal document that instantly transforms a free weekend getaway into a permanent $0 asset for your children? Millions of smart professionals fall into this identical psychological trap every year, completely blinded by the deceptive allure of complimentary luxury resort packages. They sit through a high-pressure sales pitch, convinced they are securing a beautiful slice of paradise that will enrich their family for generations. Yet the exact moment the ink dries on that vacation ownership deed, your hard-earned capital evaporates into a completely illiquid financial black hole. Unlike traditional real estate investments, this specific contract possesses a devastating catch, making it entirely impossible to sell on any open public market. It instantly mutates into an unstoppable cash-draining machine, legally anchoring itself to your descendants through hidden, compounding clauses buried deep within the fine print. Your children will be forced to pay soaring maintenance obligations every single year, regardless of whether they ever step foot inside the property. How did an industry built on relaxation successfully engineer the ultimate multi-generational financial trap? And how can you legally break the chain today? The entire systemic mechanism relies heavily on a well-documented behavioral cognitive error known to top global economists as hyperbolic discounting. Human psychology inherently overvalues immediate, tangible rewards, while completely minimizing massive long-term fiscal liabilities that await far out in the distant future. Predatory presentation environments weaponize this exact bias by flooding your subconscious mind with instant luxury status symbols and premium-free vouchers. By the time your rational brain processes the transaction, you have willingly stepped onto a highly optimized corporate financial conveyor belt. This hidden mechanism continuously siphons liquidity from your primary bank account, operating entirely independent of actual utilization or personal economic health. Soon, the destructive sunk cost fallacy takes complete control, forcing trapped owners to pay escalating fees simply because they invested thousands up front. The true corporate masterstroke, however, is the standard perpetuity clause, specifically designed to bypass your mortality and anchor to your next of kin. This legal framework ensures that your passive liability asset reallocation automatically transfers straight to your children, making escape incredibly complex. Arming yourself with advanced money psychology and specific contract cancellation compliance knowledge is the only definitive way to shatter this predatory cycle. To permanently upgrade your everyday financial intelligence and build an unbreakable shield against complex corporate legal traps, subscribe to Economecha right now. By securing your analytical cognitive armor today, you ensure that predatory life cycle agreements can never compromise your family's long-term wealth preservation. Let us now dissect exactly how this artificial scarcity compares to traditional, low-overhead wealth strategies in the actual open consumer marketplace. Most buyers never calculate the real mathematical trajectory of their timeshare maintenance fee relief options until the cumulative damage is already done. They falsely assume that a fixed vacation asset protects them from inflation, entirely overlooking the compounding nature of unregulated, mandatory corporate fee hikes. When they eventually attempt a financial contract liquidation, they discover a secondary marketplace completely flooded with desperate owners giving deeds away for $1. This synthetic illiquidity forces consumers to seek out expensive timeshare exit legal services, adding even more upfront costs to an already bleeding balance sheet. To truly understand the massive divergence in net asset preservation, we must structurally analyze two completely opposing consumer archetypes over a multi-decade timeline. Imagine tracking these two distinct financial life paths over a strict 20-year horizon, starting with the exact same initial capital. Consumer A succumbs to the initial presentation rewards, anchoring themselves to a fixed vacation points package that triggers non-negotiable yearly fee hikes. Over a 20-year horizon, this compounding obligation systematically drains tens of thousands of dollars in exchange for an incredibly rigid travel system. Conversely, Consumer B completely bypasses the timeshare network, strictly utilizing highly flexible cash bookings only when they actually desire to travel. By redirecting the avoided maintenance capital straight into liquid index funds, Consumer B achieves an overwhelming divergence in net asset preservation. The mathematical contrast reveals a stark truth, exposing how synthetic real estate titles consistently cannibalize your family's generational liquidity. Every exchange fee, upgrade cost, and blackout date further compounds the deficit, transforming your leisure time into a corporate profit center. The entire business architecture is structurally engineered to ensure the developer extracts continuous wealth, regardless of your personal satisfaction or economic changes. This permanent misallocation of capital permanently prevents trapped individuals from seizing genuine, high-yield investment opportunities that arise in the open market. You are essentially subsidizing a corporate hospitality network while stripping your own descendants of the vital financial flexibility they need to thrive. Breaking free from this structural exploitation requires moving completely past emotional denial and executing precise, strategic legal mitigation protocols. The ultimate defense begins with mastering formal contract cancellation compliance frameworks within the critical, state-mandated initial rescission timeline. If you have recently signed a predatory agreement, you must immediately dispatch a comprehensive, legally binding revocation notice via certified mail. This simple environmental default switch permanently halts the onboarding process, legally dissolving the compounding liability before the contract permanently locks. For long-term owners seeking to protect their descendants, you must proactively execute formal abandonment clauses and absolute legal declination frameworks. By formalizing a proactive disclaimer of interest document, you effectively build an unbreakable barrier that prevents liability transference to your children. Tomorrow morning, execute your first major behavioral homework assignment by conducting a meticulous, line-by-line audit of your membership paperwork. Locate the specific deedback or inventory surrender provisions, identifying the exact corporate compliance criteria required to return the asset permanently. Initiating a formal written inquiry regarding corporate contract dissolution immediately shifts the leverage back into your hands, breaking the compliance illusion. Never allow predatory marketers to convince you that perpetual maintenance obligations are a normal, healthy part of modern financial planning. By asserting absolute control over your long-term contracts, you instantly recover your economic sovereignty and secure your family's financial freedom. True wealth preservation requires a constant willingness to audit everyday expenditures and systematically eliminate hidden, automated passive cash drains. When you successfully dismantle the psychological illusions behind high-pressure marketing, the compounding traps of consumer capitalism instantly lose their power. Your generational capital belongs in flexible, high-yielding liquid investments, not anchored to an artificial real estate contract that devalues to zero. Take the definitive step to shield your descendants, audit your long-term commitments tomorrow morning, and permanently upgrade your financial intelligence.